USCIS doesn't wake up every morning thinking, how can I make someone's dreams come true today? Qualifying for an EB-1A requires much more than just being extraordinary in your field. You must prove it. You must typically satisfy at least 3 of 10 regulatory criteria. You'll need to establish that you're among the small percentage at the top of your field and that you have sustained national or international acclaim in your field. For many, not easy. And this video won't make your case a winner, but it might just improve your odds. I'm Stefan Akorli, a U.S. immigration attorney, and I'm here to do for you what so many people have done for me throughout the years, and that is provide important information that can maybe change a life or two. Now let's examine some things you can do to help you appease these bureaucratic gods. Hire a lawyer. No, I'm not just saying that because I am a lawyer. An immigration attorney doesn't just fill out forms, I hope you know. We build a compelling case strategy, select the right evidence, develop reference letters, explain all the materials in a convincing manner, make sure everything aligns with USCIS expectations and requirements, and we're prepared to respond to any questions or objections that the government might have. Hire a lawyer, preferably early. It's much easier to get a lawyer from the start than it is to get one when the government is actively trying to ruin your life by sending you a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny or a denial. But if, for instance, a lawyer is outside of your budget, well, let's go to the next tip. Intimately know the rules. This may be the hardest thing you can do to improve your odds. Rules abound, and naturally they are nuanced. Some nuances, however, are not widely disseminated. They are instead learned through the painful process of experience, or for some, the more painful process of reading legal documents. What's worse, there are unexpressed rules. Can you believe it? Unexpressed rules. Well, that's like going to a dinner party at someone's house and seeing 6 pairs of shoes when you open the front door. You didn't know before, but you know now, you're barefooting it. No shoes is an unexpressed rule. And these kinds of rules, they exist in immigration law. Still, to strengthen your case, you should know the rules as intimately as you can. You need to know where a target is if you're going to hit it. Aiming blindly is surprisingly ineffective. Strengthen your writing skills. Assuming you're not a professional writer or someone for whom writing is a huge part of the job description, strengthen your writing skills so you can present your evidence effectively. Once you've gathered all the documentation, presentation is key. In a cover letter, USCIS is not looking for a gripping novel, but they don't want to be bored, confused, or beset with questions about how the evidence you submitted checks off all the requirements for the EB-1A. Assuming you don't hire a lawyer, you'll need to be doing some very important writing. Learn to argue with legal analogies. Use decided cases to your advantage. Analogy is a legal argument based on comparison. You infer a legal conclusion based on a comparison of facts between controlling authorities, those are basically cases that must be followed. In your case, in the EB-1A context, there's very little controlling authority, but there is a lot of persuasive authority. Those are basically cases an adjudicator doesn't have to follow, but may be persuaded to follow. Now, successful analogies hinge on 2 skills: identifying all the critical facts in this case, the persuasive authority, that's skill number 1, and synthesizing them with your case facts, that's skill number 2. Here's a partially made up example. Imagine it is very important for your case, for your field of extraordinary ability to be widely drawn. So you say your field is dance, which is a conveniently broad label. You see dancer, choreographer, dance studio owner, they can all be conveniently lumped together in the field of dance. But you suspect that an adjudicator, bless their bureaucratic little hearts, may look askance at that field. You suspect that the adjudicator will try to narrow your field. So you find a case that addresses this issue. It's a district court case where the court decided that the petitioner's area of extraordinary ability was clergyman. In this case, the petitioner preferred that description because it would encompass a lot of his activities. Activity of authoring articles and providing guidance to fellow scholars in political science, theology, Islamic studies, and education. The USCIS adjudicator thought his field should just be education. Now, the district court's reasoning to arrive at its conclusion rested on the fact that the petitioner had a claim in various areas beyond education. You synthesize your own facts with the facts from that case. You might say, similar to the petitioner in that case, you have received a claim in various areas, such as choreography, dancing, and dance studio ownership, so that the field of extraordinary ability must be drawn expansively enough to include dancing, studio ownership, and choreography. The field of extraordinary ability is appropriately dance. See how this works? Now, you won't need this kind of argument for everything, but it can be handy, especially in difficult parts. Do more research. Research is quite helpful to build and argue a case well. If arguing through analogy is building a house, then research is procuring the building materials. And remember this, please. Being able to cite a case for a proposition is good. For example, the proposition that a particular combination of credentials is enough to establish that you have sustained national acclaim. So being able to cite a case for a proposition is good. But being able to cite multiple cases for the same proposition, especially if the proposition is very significant to your case, is much better. You can only do something like that if you've done a lot of legal research. Now, if you're facing a blank Word document while you're working on your EB-1A case, or you have an unusual case, or simply want to move more swiftly through the process, contact me. My firm can help. And if watching this video has somehow been the highlight of your day, subscribe. More of this is on the way.